So here we are. We are looking at the Avid One Media Composer, August, November 1989. Software restored, a really great working system. Look at look at the elegant interface, very simplified, but I got all the basic constructs were here, including this real revolutionary timeline, this architectural blueprint of your sequence, something that if you had a film synchronizer you used to, but if you were a videotape editor you had no blueprint whatsoever. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go and, just as thousands of Avid editors did, open up our project. Okay, so now that we have our bin open, let's bring our clip over. And so here it is. Now I know what you're thinking, the resolution.
I'm Bill Warner, president of Avid Technology. A year and a half ago, I started this company.
It was never about the resolution. It was about the elegance of being able to make brilliantly fast edits and reconstruct them and do versions, which really caught the eye of those early adopters. Play.
With a mission and a dream. As a high-tech marketing manager, I have been using the power of video to introduce new products into the marketplace.
Mark and out point. See the early tiger teeth here for in and out marks, and we will use our splice button and splice it over. And we have made our first edit on a Avid One Media Composer, 1989. We'll move around.
Let's start with a few fundamentals.
Come back, and here's of course that famous shot of Bill displaying the system, uncovering the system, on a video that a lot of people have seen. And we'll splice that over too. And you can see our timeline building, being able to scroll anywhere we want, and our typical head frames, head tail frames, all of the film frames. Again, revolutionary in terms of a digital nonlinear editing system. Okay, so we've made some edits. We see that those edits in the timeline. Let's just hit play. It's not going to be editorially correct.
Asking right now. Let's start with a few beginnings of the program.
Now you can see obviously we've got a redundancy here, and this led to what was the amazing trim mode. Again, revolutionary for the film and videotape editor. And just by clicking on the go to previous edit button, it took us down to exactly that transition point in the timeline. And then by clicking on either side, the outgoing side or the incoming side, you were able to trim using these trim buttons. Obviously there's a redundancy here, and we could just shave off a few frames from the head of this shot, add or delete frames from this shot, step out of the edit, and then hit the play button. One of the other things that's really important in terms of staying close to your users, of course, was something we put in that very first beta version, and that was the ability to be able to send feedback to the company. So just by pulling down this feedback form, you could do things like request a feature, add general feedback, prioritize this for the company, and it would log the report. And eventually a system shipped with a modem, and you'd be able to send that feedback to the bulletin board service, which is the BBS, Avid BBS that we called it at the time. Very, very important in terms of building that product. Of course, you see the original logo here and so forth. So that's it. That is a Avid One Media Composer from 1989, fully functional, restored here in 2019.